The day I caught my cousin sneaking that secret deal, he stabbed me in the back and almost wrecked my life. I couldn't believe he'd turn on me like that after all we'd been through. My heart sank, but then I knew I had to act fast. What I did to fight back ruined him for good. Stay tuned to see how. Before we dive in, you're watching True Revenge, where every betrayal meets justice. Subscribe now so you never miss when karma strikes back. That IT was a normal Tuesday morning in our little garage shop. Me and my cousin, Jake, had been running that place together for 15 years. We grew up like brothers, fixing cars side by side, splitting every penny we made. I can still smell the oil on my hands and hear his loud laugh as we joke about the old days, back when we were just kids messing around with wrenches. That shop was my whole life. Every scratch on those walls came from my hard work, my long nights, my dreams of making something big. I trusted Jake with everything. Thought we were a team that could handle anything. We'd share burgers after work, talk about our families, and plan for the future. Then, out of nowhere, an email popped up on my phone from a client. It wasn't meant for me, but I opened it anyway. Jake had made a secret deal, selling our best car designs to a rival company for a quick cash grab. My stomach dropped like I'd fallen off a ladder. I read it again, hoping it was some kind of mistake, but the words hit me hard and clear. He'd gone behind my back, taken what we built together with our own hands, and handed it over to someone else. A sharp pain shot through my chest. Betrayal like I'd never felt before. How could he do this to me? We'd shared Thanksgiving dinners at my mom's house, helped each other through tough breakups, even cried together when his old dog passed away. I'd loaned him money when he was broke, covered for him when he showed up late, and even let him crash at my place when he needed it. And now, he was stabbing me in the back like I meant nothing. My hand started shaking as I stared at that email, tears burning my eyes. The garage felt cold and empty, like he'd ripped my heart right out of me. I called him right away, my fingers fumbling as I hit his number, my heart pounding so loud I could hear it. He picked up, sounding all cool and casual like it was just another day. "Hey, man, what's up?" he said, like nothing was wrong. I couldn't even talk at first, my throat tight with anger and hurt. When I finally asked about the deal, he just laughed, like it was some funny game. "It's just business, Kaus," he said, brushing it off like it was no big deal. Just business? That shop was my life, my family's future, and he called it business? I slammed the phone down, my fists clenched so tight my nails dug into my palms. The hurt hit me like a truck, turning into a hot rage that made my face red. But deep down, I felt lost, like I didn't even know who this guy was anymore. Was all our time together just a lie? That night, I couldn't sleep a wink. I paced around the living room, the clock ticking louder with every step, driving me crazy. My wife came downstairs, rubbing her eyes, asking what was wrong. I just shook my head, mumbling something about work stress. How do you tell your wife that your own cousin turned on you like a snake? I kept seeing Jake's face in my mind, that smirk he'd have when he thought he was winning, and it made my blood boil. My kids were upstairs, sleeping peaceful in their beds, and I thought about them, their college dreams, their little league games, all the stuff I wanted for them. It was all tied to that shop. If Jake pulled this off, we'd lose everything. Our home, their future, everything I'd worked for. My chest ached with fear, a heavy weight that made it hard to breathe. But then a little spark lit up inside me. I had to do something, had to fight back. The deal was closing Friday. That gave me just a couple of days to figure out that. I sat down at the kitchen table with a cup of cold coffee, staring at that email again. The anger was there, burning hot, but so was a hurt, a deep pain that wouldn't go away. I remembered all the times I'd stuck up for him, told my buddies he was a good guy, bragged about our shop to my neighbors. Now I felt like a fool, like I'd been blind. My dad's voice popped into my head. He always said, "Stand up for what's yours, son," with that tough look in his eyes. I wiped my eyes with my sleeve, feeling that old stubbornness kick in. I wasn't going to let Jake win, not without a fight. I started thinking hard. Maybe there was a way to stop him. I got up and grabbed some old files from the desk in the corner, my hands trembling as I flipped through them. The partnership agreement had to have something some way to save my shop. Time was ticking, and I knew I had to move fast before it was too late. I spread those papers out on the table, the light from the lamp making shadows on the walls. I thought about all the hours I'd put in, the sweat that dripped onto those engine parts, the pride I felt when we got our first big job. Jake was part of that, or at least I thought he was. Now it felt like he'd spit on all of it. My wife came in, saw me with the files, and asked if I needed help. I shook my head, telling her I had to do this alone. She gave me a hug, her arms warm around me, and that made the hurt a little easier to handle. I kept going, reading every line, my eyes blurry from tiredness. Then I found it, a clause saying both of us had to agree on any big deal. My heart jumped like I'd won a prize. Maybe this was my chance. I sat back, feeling a mix of hope and fear. Could I really use this against him? The clock showed midnight, but I didn't care. I called my buddy Mike, a lawyer who'd done some work for me before. His voice was sleepy when he answered, but he woke up fast when I told him about the email and the agreement. "That's good, man, but we need more proof," he said, his tone serious. Proof. That word stuck with me. It was Wednesday night now, and Friday was coming quick. My gut twisted. Could I get enough to stop Jake in time? I told Mike I'd call him back with more, my mind racing. I went back to the garage, the cold air hitting me as I opened the door. I looked at the tools, the cars we'd fixed together, and felt a wave of anger. This was my place, my fight. I started pulling out old boxes, looking for anything that could help. My hands shook as I dug through receipts, old photos of us working, even a birthday card Jake gave me years ago. Seeing his handwriting made my eyes water again, but I pushed through. I found some emails we'd sent back and forth about the designs, proof we worked on them together. My heart beat faster. This could show he had no right to sell them. I sat on the floor, surrounded by papers, feeling the weight of it all. My family depended on me, and Jake was trying to take it away. That thought made me mad, but it also made me stronger. I knew I had to keep going, had to find a way to win. By morning, I was a mess, tired, red-eyed, but determined. I called Mike again, telling him about the emails and the agreement. He sounded hopeful, saying, "Bring it all tomorrow and we'll see what we can do." Tomorrow. That was Thursday, and I had to face Jake soon. My stomach churned thinking about it, but I felt a spark of fight in me. I went to the kitchen, my wife making breakfast, and she looked at me with worry. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded, forcing a smile, but inside I was a storm. I had to protect my family, my shop, my life. The deal was closing Friday, and I wasn't going down without a battle. Little did Jake know, I was about to hit him with something he'd never see coming. The next morning, I woke up with a splitting headache and a heart burning with anger. I couldn't even think about eating. Every time I tried to swallow, it felt wrong, like the food was choking me with thoughts of Jake's betrayal. The garage felt like an empty shell when I walked in, every tool and tire a sad reminder of what we'd lost. I'd sit on that old wobbly stool, the quiet pressing down on me like a heavy blanket, replaying every laugh and joke we'd shared over the years. Was it all just a big lie? My heart hurt bad, thinking about all the times I'd help him out, fix his rusty car when it broke down, lend him cash when he couldn't pay rent, even let him stay at my place when he had nowhere to go. He'd taken my trust and thrown it away like it was trash, and it made me feel sick inside. I kept digging through those old papers, my hands shaking like leaves at first as I sifted through the pile on my desk. Then, little by little, they got steady as I spotted a flicker of hope. There it was, hidden in the partnership agreement, a line that said both of us had to say yes to any big deal. My heart jumped like I'd hit the jackpot. Maybe I could use that to stop Jake. I grabbed my phone and called my buddy Mike, a lawyer who'd bailed me out before. His voice came through, calm and steady, cutting to the mess in my head. "You might have something here, but we need proof, and we need it fast," he said. That word, fast, hit me hard, like a punch to the gut. It was Wednesday afternoon, and the deal was set for Friday. My stomach twisted up. Could I really pull this off with just a day and a half left? The nights were the toughest. I'd lie in bed, staring at the dark ceiling, feeling the weight of everything crushing my chest. My wife would roll over, her soft voice asking if I was okay, and I just nod, pretending everything was fine. Inside, I was falling apart, my mind spinning with pictures of Jake's smug grin. I thought about my dad again, his rough hands teaching me how to fix a carburetor when I was a kid. He'd always said, "Don't let anyone push you around, son." He'd be so mad to see Jake doing this to me, and that thought lit a fire in my belly. I had to protect my family, my good name, everything I'd busted my back for. I started gathering evidence. Old emails, wrinkled receipts from our deals. My hands getting firmer with every piece I picked up. Each one felt like a step back from the edge, a chance to fight for what was mine. Thursday morning hit me like a truck, and I met Mike at his office. The place smelled like strong coffee and old papers, but I was too worked up to care. He laid out the papers on his desk, his face serious as he looked at me. "We can try to stop the deal, but you got to face Jake today," he said, his words sinking in deep. My heart skipped a beat. Face him? After he stabbed me in the back? I nodded, my jaw tight, feeling the clock ticking like a drum in my head. I drove to the shop, my hands sweaty on the steering wheel, my mind replaying every lie Jake had told me. When I got there, he was leaning against a car, grinning like he'd already won the game. I slapped that email down on the workbench, my voice shaking as I asked him what was going on. His smile faded as he read it, but then he shrugged, laughing right in my face. "You're finished, Kaus," he said, like it was a fact. My blood boiled, hot and fast, but I turned and walked out, my fists balled up tight. The court date was set for Friday noon. I had one shot to turn this around. I went home, my mind racing like a car engine at full speed. The hurt was still there, a deep cut that wouldn't stop bleeding, but the anger was pushing me forward, giving me a push to keep going. I thought about my kids playing in the backyard, their little smiles depending on me to hold things together. If Jake took the shop, they'd lose too, their college money, their chance at a good life. That thought made my chest tight, like I couldn't catch my breath, but it also made me tougher, like I had to be the hero. I called Mike again, my voice steady now, asking what else we could do. He said we needed more, something strong to lock this down. I scratched my head, trying to think of anything that could help. Then it hit me like a light bulb, an old video from the shop, us signing the agreement way back when. Maybe that was the key. I dug it out from a dusty box in the garage, my hand shaking as I slid it into player. There we were, Jake and me, shaking hands, him promising we'd always be partners. Seeing his face, hearing his words, it was proof he'd broken everything we had. My eyes got wet, but I felt a rush of fight in me. This could be my way out. I watched that video again and again, my heart thumping with every second. The garage lights blinked in the background, the same lights we'd stayed up under fixing cars all night. I remembered the day we signed it. Jake's mom had brought us homemade cookies, and we'd laughed about running that shop till we were old and gray. Now, it felt like he'd slapped me with those memories. I called Mike back, telling him about the video. He got excited, saying it could show Jake meant to cheat me all along. But we had to move quick. The court was tomorrow, and I had to get it ready. I spent the whole night copying it, my hands steady now, my mind locked in. The clock hit 2 a.m. when I finished, but I didn't mind. This was for my family, for my pride, for everything I'd built. The next morning I was beat, tired, with red eyes, but full of grit. I met Mike early, handing him the video, my hands still a little shaky. He popped it in, watched it, and nodded. "This might work, but it's a tough call. You got to be ready for Jake to push back," he said. My stomach flipped. Push back? After all this? I nodded, feeling the pressure pile up. I drove to the shop one more time, just to clear my head and feel close to my fight. The place was quiet, the tools lined up like they were waiting for me. I thought about my dad again, his voice telling me to stand tall no matter what. I wasn't going to let Jake win, not without giving it everything I had. I sat in the car for a bit, looking at the shop, feeling the hurt and the anger mixed together. My wife had packed me a sandwich, but I couldn't eat it. My stomach was too tied up in knots. I thought about my kids again, their voices calling me Dad with those big smiles. They needed me to win this, to show them you don't back down. I grabbed my phone, checking the time, still hours before court. I called Mike one more time, asking if the video was enough. He said it was a start, but we needed to be sharp in court. My heart raced, but I felt ready. I drove home, my mind set on tomorrow. The deal was closing Friday, and I had to be there to stop it. But the real fight was just heating up, and I had a plan to take Jake down hard. Friday morning came, and I woke up with a knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. The courtroom loomed in my mind like a big, scary mountain, and I felt like a kid again, nervous but ready to stand up. I put on my best shirt, the one I wore to my son's high school graduation, trying to feel strong and sure. My wife gave me a tight hug, her eyes full of worry, and that gave me a little boost to keep going. I drove to the courthouse, my hands sweaty on the wheel, my mind spinning with thoughts of Jake's smug face. This was it, my one chance to make things right and save my shop. When I walked into that courtroom, the air felt heavy, and the quiet made my heart beat like a drum. I sat down, my legs shaky, and looked across at Jake. He was there, sitting cool and calm, like he didn't have a care in the world. That made my blood boil all over again. When the judge came in, my chest tightened. This was real now. Mike, my lawyer, stood up and started talking, showing the email and the agreement. I watched Jake's face change as the truth came out. My voice shook a little as I told the judge how Jake betrayed me, how he tried to take my family's future away. The hurt poured out, raw and real, like I was spilling my guts. I saw the judge nod a couple of times, and a tiny spark of hope flickered inside me. Then Jake's lawyer got up. He tried to twist everything, saying I was making a big deal out of nothing, that it was just business. My chest got tight. Business? This was my life, my sweat, my dreams. I wanted to jump up and yell, but Mike squeezed my arm, keeping me steady. The judge asked me questions, his voice firm but fair, and I answered as best I could, my hands clenched under the table. Every second dragged on like an hour, and I could feel the sweat on my back. When the judge finally hit the gavel, my breath stopped. The injunction is granted, he said, his words clear as day. The deal was dead. Jake's face turned white, and I felt a rush, relief mixed with a burning need to finish this fight. But as we walked out, Jake grabbed my arm hard. "This isn't over," he hissed, his eyes narrow and mean. My stomach dropped like a stone. What did he mean by that? I pulled away, my heart racing, and went home. That night, I couldn't shake his words. I sat at the kitchen table, my mind spinning, and went through the files again, my eyes blurry from being so tired. Then I found it, a sneaky clause Jake had slipped in, giving him a way to appeal. My heart sank, but then it got hard like steel. I had one last move, a big public move to end this once and for all. I called Mike, telling him about the clause, and he said, "We need to hit him where it hurts. Go public." My pulse raced. This could work. Sunday rolled around, and I was a bundle of nerves. I decided to tell the whole town what Jake did. I set up my old camera in the garage, the same one we used for shop videos back in the day. My hand shook as I hit record, my voice cracking at first. I talked about the betrayal, how Jake almost took everything from me. The pain was fresh, like an open wound, but with every word, I felt stronger, like I was taking my power back. I thought about my kids watching this someday, knowing I fought for them, and that gave me the guts to keep going. My wife sat next to me, holding my hand, her tears mixing with mine. She whispered, "You're doing the right thing," and those words hit me deep. I uploaded the video to the local news site, setting it to air Monday morning. The thought of Jake seeing it, his name dragged through mud, felt good, like a weight lifting off me. I'd barely slept that night, tossing and turning, imagining his face when he realized what I'd done. My mind played it over and over, his shop empty, his deals gone. This wasn't just about the business anymore. It was about my pride, my family, my soul. I got up early, pacing the living room, the clock ticking slow. My wife made coffee, but I couldn't drink it. My stomach was too twisted up. I kept thinking about my dad, his voice telling me to never give up, and that pushed me forward. Monday morning finally came, and the video hit the air. My phone started blowing up, clients calling, old friends texting, all turning against Jake. By noon, I heard his shop was empty, his deals canceled, his name ruined. I stood in my garage, the air feeling clean again, the tools quiet around me. The betrayal still hurt, a scar I'd carry forever, but taking him down healed something inside me. I looked at my wife, my kids running in with big hugs, and felt whole again. Jake tried calling, but I didn't pick up. This was my win, my justice. But then I got a message that changed everything, and the fight might not be over yet. Sunday morning, I was a wreck of nerves, my hands clammy as I thought about what I had to do next. The courtroom was good, but Jake's whisper stuck with me like a bad dream. This isn't over. I couldn't let him come back and take more from me. I decided to go big, to tell the whole town what he'd done. I set up my old video camera in the garage, the same one we used for shop demos years ago. My hand shook as I hit record, my voice cracking like it hadn't since I was a kid. I talked about the betrayal, how Jake almost stole everything I'd worked for. The pain was fresh, like a fresh cut, but with every word, I felt stronger, like I was getting my power back. I thought about my kids, how they'd see me one day as the dad who fought for them, and that gave me the guts to keep talking. My wife came in, sat beside me, and held my hand tight. Her eyes were wet, her voice soft as she said, "You're doing the right thing, honey." Those words hit me deep, like a warm hug in the cold. I kept going, telling the camera about the secret deal, the lies, the way he'd laughed in my face. The garage lights buzzed overhead, the same lights we'd worked under, and it made me sad but determined. I uploaded the video to the local news site, setting it to go live Monday morning. The thought of Jake seeing it, his name out there for everyone to see, felt like a sweet kind of justice. I barely slept that night, tossing in bed, my mind playing over and over, his shop empty, his friends turning away. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about my pride, my family, my heart. Monday morning dragged on, the clock moving slow as I waited. I paced the living room, my coffee going cold in the cup. My wife tried to calm me, say it would be okay, but my stomach was in knots. Then the video aired. My phone started ringing off the hook. Clients from the shop, old buddies from town, all asking what happened. One by one, they said they were done with Jake, pulling their business. By lunch, I heard his shop was dead quiet. No cars, no calls. The betrayal still hurt, a deep scar that would take time to fade. But watching him fall healed something in me. I stood in the garage, the air feeling fresh for the first time, the tools waiting for me like old friends. My kids ran in, hugging me, and my wife smiled, her hand in mine. Jake called a few times, but I let it go to voicemail. This was my win, my way of saying no more. The days after were a mix of relief and quiet sadness. The shop picked up slow but steady, with folks coming back because they trusted me. I thought about Jake a lot, how he'd ruined us, but how I'd stood up. The hurt was there, but it didn't control me anymore. I looked at my family, the ones who stuck by me, and felt grateful. Justice wasn't perfect, but it was mine. What would you do if your family turned on you? Drop your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories where justice wins.